Welcome back to the Kiwi Wedding Podcast. My name is Lydia. I'm an Auckland wedding photographer at Lydia Rachel Photography and your host. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a lovely holiday, Christmas break, and time spent with family and friends. I'm still easing back into work, still at the beach, but yeah, dipping back in and lots of editing to get done. Wedding season is in full swing and we love it. So many beautiful celebrations. So excited for you if you are getting married this summer or if you're recently engaged. We know it's also engagement season, so congratulations if that is you. If this is your first time here, welcome. I have over 100 episodes for you to go back and listen to. So many good chats, and if you ever need a specific recommendation, definitely send me a DM. I am currently running a wedding photography giveaway competition. So excited to do this. It's something I have never done, and yeah, I have been loving reading all of your entries. So if you are currently planning your wedding, you haven't booked your photographer yet, and you think that we might be the right fit, then go and check it out. I will link the entry form in the show notes here, and you can also pop over to Instagram, the podcast page, or Lydia Rachel Photo to find everything there. The giveaway is open until the end of this week, so make sure you jump on it, and I'm so excited to reveal the winner. I am surprise popping up in your podcast feeds today with a bonus episode that is a recording from our last live event in Auckland, which was back in August 2025. I absolutely love doing these events, even though they are so much work to organise. I have had the support from the wedding vendor community and many local businesses and brands is incredible. We have the most epic goodie bags every time and amazing vendor partners that come on board to make it all look and feel amazing. This was such a fun event. We had it at Tada Creative Studio in the city in Auckland, and we had people come along, mingling, a beautiful grazing table and drinks and cake, a little photo backdrop. We had some dresses from Blak Bridesmaids for people to have a look through. And then we had a bit of a sit-down chat, almost like a mini podcast chat with each of our amazing guest speakers, and then some Q&A with the audience as well. These events are so much fun, so I highly recommend coming along if you are in your wedding planning era. I'm already dreaming up what we're going to do for 2026, and yeah, it will probably be later in the year. Usually kind of do them in the off season as summer is a busy time. So I will keep you posted about what we're planning next. So today I just wanted to share some of our chat. I did record it. It is a little bit different to my normal sound quality, just being in a big room, but it's definitely fine to listen to. I had 3 amazing guest speakers join me on the couch for this chat. We firstly had Kate Solley, who you would have heard on the podcast before, incredible makeup artist. I'll link her episode in the show notes as well if you want to go have a listen to that. Her work is beautiful, and she gave some amazing tips around skincare, prep, and just the point of view of a makeup artist. We then had the incredible Trish Peng, who you will know as an incredible dress designer and her amazing brands on the global stage. She had lots of wisdom all about the wedding dress process and her perspective from being a recent bride as well. I have recorded with Trish for a full podcast episode too, which is coming out very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. And lastly, I had the lovely Astrid Braid from PS I Love You events and her new brand launching Forever Starts Now. Astrid was a wealth of knowledge, many years in the industry with high-end luxury weddings and all different types of experience. I'm also planning to do a full episode with Astrid soon because I think there's a lot for you to learn from her. This is some of our conversation. We then went on to have some questions from the audience, which I haven't included just for the people that attended the event, but this is just a taster of it and I thought you guys might like to hear it. So I will talk to you very soon, going into the giveaway now, and enjoy this bonus episode from the Kiwi Wedding Podcast Live 2025. So I'd like to welcome up our very first guest speaker, the amazing Kate Solley. She's an incredible makeup artist to get started with, and I have had Kate recently on the podcast, so some of you might have heard her episode and some of this already, but for those that haven't, can you share a bit about yourself, your background with your business, how you got into makeup and weddings?
Yeah, totally. So I'm Kate. I've been a makeup artist for about 18 years now, which is just wild, like pretty much half of my life. I started off at MAC and I was an artist there for like 10 years. And I think that I would owe most of my career, to be honest, to that. It was a really great like training zone for me. I actually ended up being a trainer there, so ended up training the artist. And then I got to a point where I was like, what am I doing with my life? I'm sort of at a crossroads, and I always knew I wanted to have a family. So I was like, I'm going to go off and freelance. And it's just kind of been since then, and it's great because I've got 2 young kids, so I kind of can have the balance of still being a mum but also having a career.
So good. It's been incredible to see your business thriving over the years. many weddings, and you also run workshops as well, which I'd love for you to just touch on what you do, and you just finish off your tour with the masterclasses as well. But tell us a little bit about your workshops too.
So I guess the training background with me was like, I felt there was a space in the market where people wanted to learn how to do makeup without the pressure of buying products. And so I started makeup workshops where pretty much you can come, I either do a public one or a private one. And I teach you makeup with like a group of friends and stuff like that. And I guess the whole point is, I wanted to create an environment where it's safe, where people could learn. I'm not going to say you're not going to leave there not wanting to buy stuff, because people do, but at least I'm not selling you stuff that's like the latest it product. I think that's where we get really caught up. And so I launched them, and they've just gone crazy. I think I've done 50 in the last year, which is awesome. Like, it's great. And then I just finished doing a masterclass for 4 of them with 3 other makeup artists throughout New Zealand. So it's been busy.
It's fun.
But it's great though. Like, you're so grateful for it as well.
So incredible what you do. I was lucky enough to go along to the Christchurch masterclass, and I've done one of Kate's workshops as well. Highly recommend. Like do your makeup the same way for years. Don't know where you learned it from, but learning from the best, honestly.
Thank you.
So good. And Kate did my makeup today, so thank you so much. Touching a bit on weddings and planning, how far in advance do you think a bride should be booking her makeup? And why does it matter to plan early?
So hard. If you had asked me this like 5 years ago, I would have given you a totally different answer to it than what I'm going to say now. But like, what are we? August 2025, and I probably get 4 or 5 inquiries daily for 2027. Which I'm like, what even am I doing with my life in 2027? But I think this is just like the reality is that like, if you want a specific vendor, if you're wanting a specific venue, like especially in like those peak times, you do need to book in advance. So I would say probably 18 months, which is wild. I know, but you just do need to, especially, and like I said, that's definitely for like a Friday and a Saturday, and those people. When I say peak months, like especially the Februaries and the March, but even like November, December is still really popular as well.
Totally. Definitely never too early.
Never too early. And hey, if your vendor that you want is not opening their books yet, like they will tell you that, and that's fine. You can just go on their wait list, but that would be my advice.
Totally.
The earlier the better for the main ones anyway. That's if you're going to do like, I would say with your like your dress as a planner, like if you use a planner, like your venue, photography, hair and makeup. So those ones.
I think
which is a few.
Hair and makeup are kind of overlooked, and I'll often have clients kind of like come into me 6 months before, like, do you have any recommendations? Like, you should have booked that a while ago.
And it's really interesting because we can tell what the key dates are going to be. Like, I could already tell you now what they're going to be. For those years. It's crazy.
So important. We love to chat about skin prep. Everyone is trying to look their very best for their wedding day, and get that perfect routine leading up to it, whether they're visiting a skin specialist or getting ready for their big day. Do you have any tips or skin prep things you would want to share about that lead up?
Yeah, I think if you've got time on your hands, I would look at going to, say, like a beauty clinic that you really like. I mean, so many places these days do heaps of memberships where you can pay like a monthly fee and get like 12 sessions or even more, and they can really tailor it to your skin type, which is really good. I mean, we're so lucky here in Auckland, especially, there's so many. But I will say, if you decide like 3 months out that you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go and start a skincare routine, I'd probably say don't, because your skin will absolutely freak out, and it takes a good 3 months to at least get used to like a new product or a new treatment. So I would say, if you've got time on your hands, do that. But in saying that, like, you don't need to spend heaps of money, and you'll hear about this today. Like, I think there's so many treatments out there, and there are some that are really good, but it is a cost as well. So I think just find what works in your budget. Like, it's really simple things like drink lots of water, wear sunblock, like that doesn't cost lots, and it actually goes so far. But there is probably, if I could say like one thing I would do like a couple of days before the wedding, is like lymphatic massage on the face and stuff like that. That's really on trend, and I hate using the word on trend, but it is, and it actually, I can stand here and say I actually really do see results. So I would give maybe like 2 to 3 days beforehand. I would go, if you can, and get one, because it's not normally using active products, and it just helps to take any puffiness or water retention away, and that's something that everyone wants to look their best on their day, and I do think that's a treatment you could do.
Yeah, so good. Great advice there. We see lots of like styles and trends in different eras over the year. What makeup styles are you seeing most, or think will be seen in this upcoming season? What do you think kind of works best for brides?
Yeah, I think like makeup does change a lot, but it also doesn't at the same time. Like, skin is still really on trend. Everyone wants good skin. Blush is really having a moment, which I'm all about because I love blush. And I would say more of like a cleaner eye. So I wouldn't say we'd be seeing as much smoky eyes. But then it's hard because it actually depends which makeup artist you book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you book someone who's known for a smoky eye, well, they're probably going to give you a smoky eye if that's what you want. So I would say that more clean, pulled back is definitely more what we're seeing at the moment.
Nice. And you hope people kind of book their makeup artists for their work that they've already seen. You're not going to book someone and then say, can you do something completely different to all your other work?
Totally. And that's how you book, is off what you see and what you like.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Amazing. And last question for now. Do you have any sort of advice for brides, whether that's in makeup or just in general? If like your best friend was planning her wedding, what would be the piece of advice you would give her?
Okay, from a wedding point of view, if my best friend was getting married, I would say it's the best day, but it is one day. And just like choose what's important to you, and don't get caught up in it. Like, I think I just see people and they just get so fixated in so many different things that they actually miss what it's about. And then from a makeup point of view, I would say your wedding day is just not the day to try something new. You want to feel like you're going to feel the most confident. And if you don't really wear makeup, it's probably not the day to go to a full smoky eye, because you just won't. And I think people think with makeup that they need to try like this super glam look to look their best, but if that's not what you are used to, then it wouldn't work.
Yeah. So good. Love that. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Next, we've got the amazing Trish Peng. You come join me on the couch. Welcome, Trish.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. If you haven't heard of Trish, she's an incredible dress designer, owns a few incredible global brands now. And so, I'd love to start same kind of thing, a little bit about your journey, getting into fashion and bridal, and what kind of led you to where you are today.
Cool, Okay, so a bit of spiel about me. We are celebrating, 12 years in business in Jan, so it's been a journey, and it's definitely not overnight. I knew at the age of 7 that I wanted to be a designer and just kind of went for it. Had my business while I was studying at university and just hustled, hustled, was sewing in my parents' garage, and then found my calling with bridal. I was making custom ball dresses for my friends, and then naturally they started asking for bridal. Fast forward, 6 years later, I opened the Pink Doors in Greylin, and that was March 2020. So that was, hi, okay, bye, I'm going to work from home for 5 months. So we had to navigate that for sure. Then for 6 years, didn't actually make any money. Didn't even really know what I was doing. But then you fast forward, it was when I opened those Pink Doors where I was like, okay, I really need to just let go and expand. So how I was able to grow was to hire someone, not do everything myself, because you can't. Yeah. So hired my first employee then, and then now we've got a team of 14. So you just got to let go. So then fast forward 2022, we decided to really ramp up and go global with our wholesaling. So where rather than opening your own stores worldwide, you work with retailers, bridal stores around the world, and then you design collections a year and they'll pick them up. So we went absolutely viral with one dress where at our campaign shoot, the model was like, I was like, run at it. And then she ran, and then she actually like slightly tripped up, and then there was mud all over the dress. But overnight on TikTok, like we're looking at 17 million views now. But that's literally what put Trish Peng on the global map. It was crazy, right? So overnight we had brides in stores around the world asking, like, how do I get this dress? There's so many dupes out there now, shame, but
means you're successful,
right? But that's how we were able to scale. And now we've got 50 stores across 13 countries. So that's how, I guess to sum up the journey and those key points. Yeah. That's where I'm at, which is quite cool. It's like still pinch me moments. Yeah.
Crazy. And do you want to touch on a bit of the yours truly?
Oh yes, yeah. So then
actually a bit of a wedding power couple with
okay.
menswear brand too.
Yes. So I'd say 2024. Oh no, 2023. I opened Yours Truly, which is the more accessible price pointed side of the Trish Peng, because Trish Peng it was more that luxury price point, and then Yours Truly is at the same premise. It's just behind us in McAlvey Street, Greylin, and this caters for samples. And originally it was pre-loved as well, but we're phasing that side out. But now it's sample, and we've got our diffusion line, which is Yours Truly by Trish Peng, and it's just that more accessible price pointed sample. So we kind of cater for everyone now. And then we also work with charities. So if you choose a dress, then you get to choose out of the 8 charities where the donation goes. And then my hubby, so we got married a year and a half ago, and he always had the background of made to measure suits. So he managed one of the stores in High Street, and now so we launched a menswear brand called Teabag Tailoring, and so that is custom made suits for weddings, but also everyday guys.
So good.
Yeah.
Absolute power couple. Love that. And can you chat to us a bit about the design process for a bride working with you? I know you do a limited amount of custom, but also just that whole kind of experience they have when someone chooses a dress. Really.
So with custom, it requires so much time and a journey with each bride. So I can really only take on 10 custom brides a season. So if you booked in with me, you can either choose a high tea appointment or just come in just with your entourage. You have the entire boutique to yourself, and it's really just it's playing dress up. It's really trying on dresses, figuring out what you want, because sometimes it's the curveball I'll throw you. You know, it's completely different to what's on your Pinterest board. Then, or you can book in with my team, and then they'll guide you through it as well. Yeah, it's just it's like it should be a fun process, right? So I would say, don't bring too many people. The other day we can cater up to 6, but like 2, 3 are great. People whose opinions you value, because we had she brought like 12 people. I don't have enough chairs. And then you just it ends up being a little bit of you're trying to cater for everyone's style, but you just really need to go for what you want as a bride.
Yeah, so good. chatted to a few of your brides on the podcast, and everyone raves about their experience there, and that they just like made to feel so good and confident. And I think that's so important in the dress shopping experience. There's obviously trends and different things we see come and go with dresses. Is there anything that you're noticing at the moment? What kind of styles people are going for or wanting? And what sort of inspires your collections?
Sure. Okay. So as a designer, my aesthetic is timeless. It's modern, elegant, beautiful, but with that modern twist. So I would say you want to choose a dress where in 10, 20 years time you look back and you're like, I still like it, like timeless, I'd say. There are definitely a lot of trends that come in and out, and if you're a more trendier bride, then absolutely go for it. But I would say in the back of your mind, try have that. Things come and go, right? So chantilly lace, that old school lace that Kate Middleton got married in, has come back full swing, along with a basque waist, which is so popular and very flattering. That's where, rather than that straight natural waist, it like dips down a little bit. So there's all these trends, and like a mini dress, I don't think that's going anywhere. That second look or so I mean there's so many, but I'd say just try to stick with your style and your aesthetic for your wedding, and Astrid can get into that.
So good. You've mentioned a few things there, but do you have any other advice for brides looking to find their dress and just kind of on the start of that journey, how to approach it?
So I would say scroll through your social media, but also don't delve too much into it, because a lot of people come in with screenshots of these dresses and they're like, I want that. I'm like, that was like $50,000, that particular dress. So it's coming in like with an open mind to try on what suits you, because everyone's body shape's different, right? And sometimes you think, I'm so set on lace, but then boom, you actually suit that more cleaner look. Go with what you want rather than the more opinionated family member or friend. And just definitely make sure that you give it enough time. So our lead times, in bridal in general, we recommend starting the search like 10 to 12 months before your wedding day. That just allows enough time, because every designer has a different lead time, but a lot of them are 6 to 8 months. Usually it is just give it 8 months. And anything less than that can have a rush fee, which if you're already paying X amount, that's another 10, 15, 20%, which you didn't account for. So definitely give it enough time, and don't go to too many stores. You just get overwhelmed. All the dresses end up looking the same. I always say there's only so many different necklines and skirt shapes. It's just finding that your combo, and then figuring out the fabric,
So good. Great advice there. You've touched on this a bit as well, probably, but can be very overwhelming, vulnerable experience on that dress shopping hunt for brides who might feel really overwhelmed or worried about how they're going to look and feel on the day. Do you have any advice for them?
Just be you, don't put too much pressure on yourself with the planning. Again, it's like it's the biggest day of your life, but it is just the one day, like Kate said. And you're, at the end of the day, you're marrying the love of your life, so make it about that rather than too social media driven. It's got to be this big thing. Just focus on you and your partner, I'd say.
So good.
What the day's about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to touch a little bit on your experience as a bride. Obviously, you run this incredible brand. You're very busy, and then you got married kind of recently yourself too. What did you learn from being on the other side of it, being a bride, that you would say?
Well, I felt the pressure. So I got married December 8th, 2023 in Queenstown, and it was just the best day of my life. I ended up wearing 4 dresses. Here I am telling you guys, don't go all out, but I went all out. I don't regret it at all. Just the best day. But what have I learned? Well, there were tips of advice that people gave me before I got married, and I kind of remembered that. So one of the tips was on the day, make sure you block out like 15 at minimum minutes with your partner to just sit back, look at everyone who was there just for you that day. And it's so special. So we made sure we blocked that out and just had the bird's eye view, and we were like, this is pretty cool. Everyone's here for us to celebrate our love. So definitely recommend that. What else did I learn? What did I say in the podcast?
Small stuff, I know.
Yeah,
we recently recorded an episode, so you guys can listen to that soon.
Yeah, don't sweat the small stuff. There are things, there are so many moving parts that something will go wrong, but it's something so minor in the scheme of things that it's just let it go, or get a wedding planner that can sort it for you on the day, you know?
Absolutely.
I thought it was very helpful having a wedding planner. Yeah. So
especially
a lot of Kiwis
being married, not in the city, living as
yes,
well.
yeah, because we had a private estate, so we had to bring every single thing in, like you name it, the generator, toilets, every bit of cutlery, you know, everything. So I wouldn't have been able to do that. A lot of New Zealand venues come with, you know, a on the day coordinator, which is great. But if you want that extra bit of support, wedding planners are the way to go.
Yeah, highly recommend. One of the most key vendors, I think. At least, coordinator or a planner. So helpful. Amazing. That's all my questions for now. We'll have you back up soon.
Cool.
But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Welcome up, Astrid Braid. So Astrid has PS I Love You, and another exciting, still a little bit secret brand launching soon, which we might get a teaser of, but watch this space. So starting with same kind of question, if you can share a bit about yourself, how you got into the industry, and tell us all about what you do.
I do. So I'm Astrid, and I have a company called PS I Love You Events, and we specialise in wedding planning and coordination and event design and styling, and we also have a floral arm to the business as well. So we're 15 years in now, and I first found a love for weddings. My mum was actually a wedding planner in the 90s, and she owned New Zealand Wedding Planners, and I used to go along and watch what she did, and I loved it. She did really small weddings, so she did elopements for couples from America or Japan who had sort of 15 guests. And I just used to love her interactions, watching her sort of with the celebrants and mostly with the couples and those relationships that she'd form. And so for me, I feel like it was a natural progression to head into events and to head into weddings. But I wanted to go to the other extreme of doing these large, high budget, grand scale weddings. Slightly crazy. We only take 20 weddings a season because of the size and the expectation on a lot of the weddings that we do. But it's been amazing. We get to be with people at the best time of their lives, sometimes also the most stressful because it's really emotionally charged. Yeah, and I suppose the new venture, which is launching, it's called Forever Starts Now. We're hoping to launch in a couple of weeks. We're a little bit delayed in our launch, but over the last 15 years, I've had so many incredible couples come to me and say, we love your work, we'd love to have you as part of our day. And then we've sent our lookbook through and our price points, and they've come back and they've said, we cannot afford a wedding planner or a wedding stylist. And to be fair, a wedding stylist or a wedding planner, they are worth their weight in gold. They spend at least minimum 200 hours on your wedding day. For these kind of big events, we're spending 500 to 600 hours. So it's a huge amount of time. So they're absolutely worth their weight in gold. But I could see very early on that there was a bridge to gap, and that I guess ultimately for me, it was very hard to turn away couples on the most important day of their lives. And so I wanted to find a way that I could service these couples without expecting them to pay the thousands, because that's a reality. Wedding planners cost, upwards of $5,000. In New Zealand, you can get up to that $15,000 mark to hire a wedding planner for your day. And that's just it's a luxury item. It's not achievable for everyone. And I'm so overtly aware of that. I know that it's not achievable for everyone, but that doesn't mean that couples shouldn't have ultimately a really similar level of support. And there's nothing out there at the moment that's offering them that support at an accessible price point. So without kind of revealing too much what we're doing yet, because it's still a little bit under wraps. There's nothing like it in New Zealand. There's actually nothing really like it in Australia. Similar in the States at the moment, but not quite. So it's going to ultimately change the way that couples plan and style their wedding, and it's going to be financially accessible for everyone. Yeah.
So exciting.
Very
I can't wait
exciting.
to hear all about it. Definitely go and follow If Forever Starts Now as well to look out for the launch. But yeah, so exciting.
Yes.
You kind of touched on it there. I think a lot of people think that wedding planners are only for the big, really bougie, high budget weddings. What would you kind of say to that, and who actually benefits? Does everyone need a planner?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I don't think that a wedding planner is just for those big bougie events. I mean, we do loads of events that are tiny, and they've got 50 people. A wedding planner or a wedding stylist is predominantly for couples who just want to elevate their event. So they could have a visual that they love, but they don't know how to take it to the next level. So that's where a stylist is amazing. It doesn't have to be necessarily that you've got a huge budget, or that you've got 500 guests going, and how do I pull this together? You could literally have 50 guests, but you know that bringing on a planner is going to help you to personalize the day. So things that you would typically potentially overlook, we pull in.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's helpful for everyone. Even the on the day coordinator service, a lot of people are doing now, just having somebody to run the day, so that you are like the guest of honor, not the host as the bride and groom.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, it's super important.
Take over everything in the background. Yeah, so good. You've, obviously seen a lot over the years. Are there any kind of common mistakes that you see couples make when planning? And, has there been any kind of moments thought this is why they should have a planner about someone else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard one. I mean, I suppose the most common, and I don't want to call it a mistake because I don't think that's fair. I mean, usually people getting married, it's their first time, right? So it's new. I would say not so much a mistake, but what I do see is people go down a Pinterest spiral, like a deep Pinterest spiral. And by the time they're ready to actually engage a wedding planner or pull it together, they're so far down this path that they've lost all perspective. So that's where we come in and we pull it all back into shape. I think another really, a really important thing to note is, I want to say couples, but it's not so much the guys, it's more the girls, get so lost in the visual of the day. And Trish, you kind of touched on this before, and I think it's a really important point. It's not just about how the day looks, it's about how the day feels. And the two, whilst they need to work together harmoniously, they're really different. So I would always suggest to couples, yes, make sure that you've got the day looking how you want it to, but do not overlook the guest experience. That is so important. And what do I mean by guest experience? I don't mean the fun and frilly bits. I mean, how do you make the event enjoyable? So have you got transport for your guests? How are your guests getting to and from your wedding? They've had drinks at the end of the night. How are they getting home? Have you had the foresight to think about that? You know, your guests are probably not going to remember what colour or how many flowers you had. You will, because you've spent months planning this, but they won't. They'll remember, hey, the bride asked me for my favourite song and they played it at the reception and I got to dance to that and that was so much fun. Or, wow, the food was amazing. Or so really creating that guest experience is somewhat more important in the long run to achieve a fabulous day than it is fixating on the visuals.
Yeah, such good advice. Love that. Touching on the trends that, we see a lot of things come and go. Are there any sort of trends that you're loving at the moment, or things you'd love to see more or less of?
Yeah, I love this question because I always like to say we don't follow trends, we like to set them. But do you know what I'm really into at the moment is that kind of high-low culinary experience. So guests who are serving champagne, but they're serving popcorn shrimp at the same time. So kind of mixing that, you know, you might serve at the end of the night a margarita with a slice of pizza. So it doesn't all have to be kind of bracketed into one sort of box. Outside of that, what am I loving? God, don't get me started. I'm loving, so I'm a really big fan of wedding cakes. And I think if you're familiar with the events we do, the wedding cakes are always quite grand, that's not necessarily because the bride wants it to be that grand. It's because I do. I love them. So we've got this, I will always colour match. So we've got this amazing cake maker, and I will send him a swatch of fabric or, you know, a resin colour swatch that we might be using somewhere else, and I will get him to colour match the icing exactly to the colour we're using throughout the day. So I'm really into that. But what I've seen lately happening, and I think it's so fun, is these giant, you've probably all seen them, these giant tiramisus.
I love that.
And they've got the cocoa sprinkled on top, and they've got like their names or something etched in. And then you see the photos and they're scooping it out. And it doubles as dessert, which is a cost-saving thing, right? Which is great. But it's so interactive and it's fun. And I think visually it creates some really good photos as well. I think there's also a little bit of a shift in terms of like the actual design and the visuals for your day. There's a bit of a shift happening at the moment. Well, it's been happening, I think, the last sort of season, is moving away from feeling like you're in an event space for your wedding and it being very structured and, you know, very wedding, to more of like a style but informal, relaxed dining room space. Like you've walked into someone's beautifully presented dining room in their home and bringing in that kind of, that homely feel. I think there's definitely been a shift to that where people want it to feel warmer and a bit more enticing for guests, opposed to feeling a bit more stark, if that makes sense.
Love that. So good. And what is your top tip for creating a wedding day timeline that lets couples actually enjoy the day rather than just kind of one thing to the next?
I mean, creating a timeline is so important, and often we even do this as well, but even with friends or people I know that are getting married and they're getting really lost in the whole process, I will say to them, instead of actually starting with your visuals and your colours and everything else, start with your run sheet. So actually block out how you envisage that day to flow. So once you've got that in place, then you can inject all the other little bits for the day that make sense, and you can kind of follow the flow a little bit more clearly. But again, Trish made a great point here. It's really important to make sure that you add pause moments, breathing moments into your day so that you can whip off with your husband. You can look at the event as a whole. You can really absorb these months of planning that you've put into this event and, you know, really celebrate the fact this is probably one of the only times in your life that you're going to have everyone that you value and love in the same room. Because, and I can say this from experience, is that friendships move on and things change, but at that point in time, you have got everyone in that space you love. And as we get older, we lose people. And I think it's really important to sit there and value that you've got those people with you and they're there to celebrate you. And if you don't take a breathing moment, if you don't pause, you miss that moment.
I love that. So important. And it's so rare that you have that group of people, everyone you love together in the same room.
And it's the biggest party, you would think, as a couple you will probably ever throw. I mean, I don't think you're ever going to spend that much money on a birthday or something else, right? So it is the biggest party as a couple that you're going to throw. So take the time to step back and reflect. And also just, again, Trish, you are just a fountain of knowledge. But I mean, focusing on why you're there. And you're right, it is about you. It is about this person you've chosen to spend your life with. It's not really about all the frills and the everything else. It is about the two of you.
So good. Focus on what matters most. Amazing. Thank you so much. We will get the other two to join us back.
Slide down a bit.
To start us off with, has been quite a tough year, past few years, I guess, for many, including for businesses, but for brides as well. Do you have any advice, this can be for any of you, for people that are planning their wedding, can still have their dream wedding, but they're on a bit of a tighter budget?
Do you know, I think it's been a tough year, but I don't think it's just been one tough year. I think it's been several tough years for lots of people, and we've noticed budgets have changed.
Totally.
And that's okay. That's actually okay. There's no pressure to spend a certain amount. Spend within your comfort zone. Don't remortgage your house to have a wedding day. It is, you know, it's one day, and I'm a wedding planner and I love them and it's what I do. I live and breathe, you know, weddings, but do not compromise your happiness and your mental health to pull off a day that is Pinterest, Instagram worthy.
Totally.
Because whatever your day looks like, it's going to be amazing. You're going to think it's amazing no matter what, because you are just in this happy, special love bubble.
Yeah.
But plan your day with intent.
Yeah.
So really think about and invest into the moments that speak the most to you. So for you, photography might be the most important element. Food might be, hair and makeup might be, your dress might be. You don't need to cover all of those. All of those don't need to be amazing. Pick one or two, invest in that. The rest will just follow.
So good. There's so many like wedding content creators now, so you don't necessarily need a photographer that can do photo and video. You know?
Yes,
There's
true.
so many different ways you can get a pre-loved wedding dress, you know, sample. There's you can do your own makeup. No, we wouldn't. No, we don't recommend it.
Some people do.
Yeah. Oh, don't do it.
Some people could sew their own dress.
I think there's so many expectations around weddings and all these traditions and things people think they have to follow, but you can really make it your own these days, and you can have a little like 20-person wedding if you want, or you can have food trucks for your food, or there's so many different ways to do
one
it.
thing is just cut your guest list.
Oh,
That's the
That
best
is
one.
the ultimate.
Yeah.
And actually, this is a good point.
really good point.
This is a good point, because this is something that we're really clear on as well, and something I think you'll find Forever Starts Now is really useful for. Is when you plan your wedding, start with your guest list before you do anything else, because your guest list will ultimately dictate your budget, not the other way around. So just be really aware and conscious of that. Every single guest that you invite has a price tag attached to their name. So tier your guest list. So, you know, your A, B, C. A, must have, family, love them, couldn't not have them there. B, would love to have them there. C, I feel obligated, and if I can afford to have you there, I will, but you'll be the first to be cut if I can't. So just do that, so you've got pulling points with your guests, and absolutely start with your guest count first.
I always say it's not a family reunion, it's celebrating, you know, you as a couple. So Tim and I made a rule where we're like, okay, if we hadn't hung out with you in a year and you live in Auckland, then I'm sorry, you're not going to make the cut. Because really, if it's 100 people, that's really 25 couples each.
Goes quickly.
And if you have a big family, who like and a lot of friends, you know,
it's true.
I think the best advice someone gave me when I was getting married was, if I was going out for dinner, would I spend, say, $200 on this person? And I'll tell you what, when you look at it like that, your list gets cut really quickly, because that is the reality. And I think one of you touched on this, it was so good, like, it was you, Astrid. You need to, there is seasons for friendships and stuff, and I think your family, that you will always have that, and that's so important, but your friendships will change, and it depends what season you're in as well. Like, I even look at my life now with having kids, like half the people that came to my wedding aren't there, and it's just one of those things where choose really wisely, and also sorry, I'll let you move on, but one of the best weddings I've ever been to was a couple who really wanted to get married, but they actually just didn't have like much money at all to throw this lavish wedding, we'd call it, and they just got a food truck in the backyard in a paddock and hung these amazing lighting, and thank goodness it was good weather, but like it was so cool. It was kind of like you just did your own food, and it was so stripped back, and I still remember it was one of the best weddings I've ever been to. So I think you can cut back in other ways.
So good. Love that. Touching on all the family kind of side of things, there is often just a lot of people that kind of come out of the woodwork when you're wedding planning, and you get a lot of these unsolicited opinions from family and friends, and sometimes causes a bit of drama. I'd love to know if you guys have any advice on how to navigate that, or if you experienced any of that planning your own weddings.
Yes, we've experienced it. Will I go into that? No. You know, I think if you, ultimately the day's yours, right? So the only opinion that matters at the end of the day is yours and your partner's. Everything else is just noise. So just cut the noise, focus on what you want out of your day.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the only way you can navigate that. I mean, honestly, I will say if having a wedding planner is something you can afford to invest in, they're the person that you lean into when there's a situation happening that you don't know how to handle. And trust me, we've done this with family members several times. We've been the go-between. So we've said to mum or to the great aunt or, you know, this is how the couple's feeling. What, you know, we have a lot of mothers of the bride or mothers of the groom that want to do the flowers. They're not florists, but they've got some flowers in their garden.
They're florists.
And they want to do the flowers. And the bride doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so they'll come to us and they'll say, how do we navigate this? And so, look, if you can have a wedding planner, then we will handle that for you. But yeah, if not, stay in your own lane. Focus on what's important to you and your partner to be. That's all that matters.
Yeah, don't bring 12 people to your dress fitting.
Yeah, exactly. And then so I did a Q&A on Instagram and someone did ask, how do you navigate bridesmaids that aren't pulling their weight? I would say you've got some bridesmaids who are just there and they are in it and they will do everything for you. You've got some that are like there if you need them and some are there for a good time, you know? And so you always have that and you've got to navigate all these personalities. I had 6 bridesmaids and I had all those 3, you know? You did. I didn't have any expectations for them to do anything. So I got my team more involved or wedding planner more involved. So I think you've got to set the expectation of like, let them be there to support you, but like almost you don't necessarily need to give them any tasks. Like it's your day. Sometimes, I don't know. Yeah, you're navigating personality. So maybe just don't set that expectation and then you won't be disappointed. I don't know. That's why you've been made of honor, you know?
Yeah.
As long as they're pulling their weight.
One. Also, there's so much kind of out there and people often are kind of experience this like social media comparison that they're, you know, trying to make their wedding look a certain way or meet a certain expectation. There's this kind of content overwhelm with everything out there. Anything that you would say how to navigate that best?
Social media is so hard. It's like great, but it's actually
unfair and a little bit cruel.
And it's actually, you know what, I'm really lucky to see some really beautiful weddings and it's very interesting what I see on Instagram compared to experiencing it on the day. I'm like, wow, how did they make it look like that?
That's right.
Really wasn't. And I think you have to go into it knowing that it's just got a filter on it and it's really not. And when you strip it back, and I think what you girls said was so good, is like, find what's really important. And yes, you can go on Pinterest and you can go on Instagram for inspo and stuff like that, and that's great, but don't let it be how you create and design your wedding, because it's actually just really unfair. And it's interesting because I've been married for quite a few years now, and I actually said, I think on my podcast to you, I was like, it's great if you're getting married, that's awesome, you should, but I would actually really dread getting married now with how much pressure there is. And I think I really hope that we get to a place where it isn't so like focused on social, because I think it's a lot of people are missing what's actually important.
Because Pinterest isn't a checklist, and that's where people get lost. They look at it and think, well, I've got to have this, and this person's done this, and if I don't have this, my wedding's not a success, and that's just not true.
And it's feeling like there's too many elements I'm finding on, I guess, I'm there with the bride on the morning, and I'm noticing that there are so many elements on the day that I'm sort of just, I think we need to strip that back and just be like, man, if you've got your girlfriends and if you've got your mum or like some, you know, family members there, you don't need the fanciest pajamas. You don't need this insane spread for food. You know, most of the time you're probably not going to eat on the day because you're so nervous. I think you just need to make sure that you've got time on the day to, I think you guys said it so right, it's like have moments throughout the day where you just stop and take it in. But just focus on that. Like, I think there's too much going on now.
And I think another thing with that whole Pinterest spiral is when you see these weddings and you see snippets of the day, you might see a snippet of a gorgeous table. You might see, you're absolutely right. So if it's a real wedding, honestly, it may not complete. The photographers moved things around on the table to get this picture. Flowers have been pulled in. They're taking this tiny snippet of the day.
And
so
no one talks about this.
No one talks about this. And also, what's not spoken about is so many of these out there. And we've done it before when we've needed content. It's a styled shoot. It is not a wedding. It is made to look like a wedding. And this is the unfairity. This is kind of, the balance of, you need to create content and you need to showcase what you can do. But at the same time, it creates, when it's brides looking at it thinking, well, I want to replicate that. But how does my budget stretch to do that? How have they actually got this amazing monogram stationery and these lush flowers? And it's like, because it's a setting for two.
Yes,
not 200.
And they've maybe chosen, to put value in that over like you said, done a smaller wedding. So it's interesting.
To be a bit more realistic. And I think there's so much on Pinterest and out there that are kind of these huge American or European weddings, beautiful 500-year-old castle, which we just don't have in New Zealand, or their weddings that are, north of 6-figure budgets, multiple, and it's like...
Well, not just that, they've got a much greater scale of vendor accessibility, because we are still small in New Zealand, and we've done a wonderful job of looking at international trends and bringing things over, and we've got great suppliers, and I think we're lucky in New Zealand that it's reasonably easy to find vendors. It's not as overwhelming as if you were looking in the States, or you're looking in Dubai, or there are so many suppliers, and they're all amazing, and but they have got the ability to bring in such a huge array of product over there. And because there's so many people and because there's so much product, the price points can be really competitive, like in the States, for example. Whereas we end up paying a little bit more of a premium because we're on the other side of the world.
So much to consider, and hopefully that's not overwhelmed all of you, but it's just really
a wedding's achievable on any budget. It's just about
exactly.
being clever and being intentional with your spend.
So good.